Welcome to Blitz and Banter. I'm your host, Kennedy Smith, alongside Travis Johnson. We are so excited to be talking all things NFL with you for the remainder of this season. We're jumping in midway through the season. We've got a lot to talk about, but first, we need to introduce ourselves, give the people a reason to believe what's coming out of our mouths. So, like I said, I'm Kennedy Smith. I have a background in sports and all things sports reporting. My mother was actually a sports reporter for Texans, Rockets, Astros, so we're already starting off with a Houston bias here. We'll get a little bit more from Travis, but I ran track at Texas A&M, and then I've been here working in sports ever since. Now, this guy, he's going to be bringing a lot of the football knowledge, so give us your extensive background. Brag about yourself.
Well, I'm Travis Johnson, former first-round draft pick of the Houston Texans, pick 16. A little fact you might want to know, I was taken before Aaron Rodgers, about 3 hours before Aaron, to be exact.
Long time.
But, I'm here in Houston. Been around the Texans for a long time, ambassador for the Texans, went to Florida State, played for the greatest coach of all time, Bobby Bowden. So I'll bring a little bit of blitz and the banter, when we go back and forth, because another best kept secret, but it's not, is working with your mother. And I think this is just as great working with you. So I'm excited. I think we got a lot to talk about this season. I think we're going to have a great time.
Now, my goal is to prove that I'm the Smith you prefer.
It might not be hard. It's going to be real hard.
Now, my question is, which one of us is the blitz and which is the banter? I personally think I'm the banter.
Well, I think I'm the blitz, but I like being the banter as well.
I'll take the glitz, though.
You are glittery
today. Did you
today.
See my jacket? I wanted to step out for episode number 1.
So are we going to name the show Glitz and Glamour?
I think it should be Glitz and Glamour.
That'd be awesome. You know what I mean? I might start wearing sparkly stuff, too.
All right, well, to start it off, we're going to talk about the team that is so near and dear to our hearts. I'm sorry, I told you we're going to be biased. Texans versus Cowboys. They were on Monday Night Football, and you were there. Give me your first thoughts on the game.
My first thoughts on the game was it was awesome, to be honest. In the first half, you saw them score on the first play. Called back. I don't think it should have been called back. I think the penalty was a little bit overzealous on the referee's part. But we ended up scoring. We went methodically down the field, had a big 60-yard touchdown run, if I remember correctly. I think we should have kept feeding them. Second half wasn't so great in the beginning because I think we didn't go back to the things that got us there. So I would love to see them make better halftime adjustments going forward, because this was the first time we scored in the second half in a while. So I'm looking forward to see how are we going to progress the rest of the year. And it was a great win. I mean, anytime you get a win, it's awesome in this league.
Yeah, I think the Texans really did do a great job. It was a clean game, but like you said, coming out of halftime, things were a little bit slow. There wasn't really anything notably going on with the Texans in that third quarter. And if you look at the score, it shows the Texans did have a good game, but it doesn't really reflect the momentum. There was a second there when Cowboys were kind of gaining a little bit of steam. It got scary for a minute.
Oh, they were. They definitely were. But I think the fact that we traveled so well to this game, if you didn't notice, the Houston Texans, we probably had half the tickets in the place. And I think they felt our energy. They felt the love. They felt the excitement. And they turned it around. And once again, they went back to Joe Mixon, making everybody look great with some of the cutback runs. And then the defense came up big with the sack, strip fumble, and the ultimate score. So that's anything you can do. You can win the turnover battle. It's awesome, because 9 times out of 10 you'll win a game if you win that turnover battle.
3 touchdowns by Joe Mixon. My gosh, he has been totally on fire this season. I mean,
if you got him in fantasy, you're loving him. I think he scored like 35.5 points or something like that. That's awesome.
Amazing. Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about the Texans and Cowboys in the next segment. We actually have an interview with the Texans punter, Tommy Townsend, so it'll be fun to get his take on that. He also actually used to play for the Chiefs, so we'll talk with him a little bit about that first Chiefs loss of this season as well. But we have got a great show coming up for you today. We're going to start off with that first interview from Tommy Townsend, and then we're going to talk about our Man of the Week. I'm going to give you a little surprise. It is Josh Allen. I don't think that's any surprise there. Then we're going to go talk a little bit about Burrow's sorrows. It's been a rough season for him so far, but we'll talk about all the ins and outs of that, along with our hot topic of the week, Jerry's World. I'm going to leave it at that. I know Travis has a lot of comments to go there. And then we're going to do some game day fashion. Obviously, I'm a fashionable girl, so we have to talk about what these guys are wearing to the games. And then we're going to do a POV, a little bit of differing point of views. We're going to duke it out and then finish it off with talking about our picks for Week 12. So we've got a great show ahead. Stick with us right here on Blitz and Banter. Welcome back to Blitz and Banter, everyone. Joining Travis and I now is Tommy Townsend, the punter for the Texans. How are you doing today, Tommy?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, obviously a good game last night, but got in late, so just trying to get a little bit of recovery in.
Well, we're super appreciative that you were even on here. What time did you guys even get in?
Yeah, I got home at like around 3 o'clock. We landed the plane around 2, so the away night games are always kind of tough, but it's always nice having an off day after.
And it was a great win. How was that? It was your first time in Jerry's World as a Texan. How was it?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, obviously as a punter, the big thing in Jerry's world is the scoreboard, and everyone always talks about hitting the scoreboard, and some guys try not to hit the scoreboard. But it was super cool. Yeah, it was a great time. It was an awesome atmosphere. I mean, that's an incredible stadium, and yeah, obviously had a lot of fun during the game.
Did you try to hit the scoreboard in pregame, or did you beat it up a little bit?
I tried not to kick it. I tried not to kick at the scoreboard. I was thinking back to last year when I was in Kansas City and we played in Germany. The stadium they had a kind of a jumbotron that came down and hung super low, and my coach was telling me all pregame, don't go for it, don't try and hit it, and I had a pretty good game then, so I tried to keep the same mentality, going in with this one.
No question. I mean, the punt that you had during this game was awesome, and it was actually, in my opinion, it was like a momentum shifter because now everybody felt good. You gave the defense great position. It turned around a lot of things. Obviously, we love you, but we don't love punting the ball as much as anybody else. But for defense, if the punter gives us a good field position, it's always a wonderful thing. We like to say the punter's a part of the defense because he's the one that's going to give us our best fighting chance to start off with a good field position.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that fires me up too is, knowing that I put the defense in a really good position to go out and shut down the offense. So, but another big thing too for me is when I'm playing against some of these returners, the guys that are the best in the league, just like Turpin, is going into the game just wanting to try and shut them down. And the punt team did a pretty good job of that. He had no returns on the day. We got 2 fair catches out of him, and then obviously the one punt that kicked up inside the 10. He decided not to catch that one. So so yeah, I was pretty happy with the day. When these big returners don't come out and not able to produce.
Well, my first thought I had pregame, I saw the ceiling of Jerry's World falling down, and we're going to get in a whole rant about that later. I promise you. I'll let you have your moment to bash Jerry's World. But my first thought was, did Tommy Townsend kick a ball through the roof?
That would have been a heck of a punt for sure. But yeah, that was really weird. Pregame we were all coming out and we were trying to get our warm-ups going, and they kept kicking us off the field, saying that there was some loose debris, and originally the ceiling it had happened when they were opening up, but they closed it, and then they were talking about reopening it again, but it was just like, all right, what are we doing here? Just like leave it shut. Like, don't worry about stuff falling from the ceiling. Just leave it shut. But it all worked out.
Annoying for you guys, or was it just kind of funny at that point?
I mean, I'm pretty intense on game day, so it was really annoying for me in the moment. But it's just one of those things. Everybody has routines and different schedules that they're on pregame, and little things like that kind of throw it off. But you just have to try and brush it off your shoulder and just focus on the task at hand.
2 things. Did they tell y'all how close they came to NFL security actually canceling the game because of the debris? Or because that was what the news was reported. They were made them either bring it down or you bolted in place.
No way. Yeah, that's the first I heard that they were thinking about canceling it. Yeah, I just know they had a bunch of issues with some debris and some loose parts up there, but I hadn't heard they were talking about canceling it. That would have been crazy.
Other thing, the punt. I mean, the punt inside the 10 was great. I thought the one that went in the end zone was about to be like masterful. Like it was coming down, and I'm like, it was almost like a chip shot to where it literally was like turning over, and I'm like, is he about to hit the 1-yard line? And it just, for some reason, it just traveled a little bit too far. But I thought for sure, I said, man, if they get down there and down this sucker on this half-yard line, this place is going to erupt.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that thing was going to kick up too. It was a nice high punt, and obviously it, went a little too deep, but didn't get a great bounce. But yeah, the ball was flying incredible in there. That the very first punt that I hit, the one that was the touchback, the way it came off my foot, I thought it was going to end up being like a 45, 46-yard punt. And the ball was on the -49, so it would have been around the 6-yard line, 5-6 yard line. But it just kept carrying and it just went. So yeah, the ball was flying really well in there, and it was the same thing on my very last punt. I mean, I didn't hit it great. We still got a fair catch inside the 10, but I thought it was going to go a little bit shorter, around to like maybe the 15. But yeah, it just kept carrying. So I'm a fan of AT&T Stadium, that's for sure.
Well, one quick question. I know that you loved getting some Super Bowl rings with the Chiefs, but are you ready to bring one to Houston with us?
We have to. Don't have a choice. I mean, yeah, it's been a crazy season so far, but after this past week, I think it's been a huge momentum shifter for us, and I'm really looking forward to the next couple of weeks and just to see what this team can go out and do and put a couple full games together, because I don't think we've completely done that just yet. I think there's a lot of untapped potential still that we have. So I'm excited for the next couple games and see what everyone comes up with.
All right, thanks for joining us, Tommy. We will be right back with some more football after this break. Welcome back to Blitz and Banter. Great stuff from Tommy. Now it is time to talk about our Man of the Week. I'm naming him. It was Josh Allen. Did you watch that game? How amazing was that?
It was amazing, because Josh is playing the way we expected Josh to play. Josh is always a guy who, he has some ups and downs, but when he starts using his legs, you can't really stop him. I think I would have loved to watch Kansas City put a spy on him a little bit more and keep, maybe use Justin Reed in the game plan of saying, you stick with him and you stick with him all day long, because that right there, especially when you're playing man-to-man defense, it always ends up where he's running all over. But he completed so many good passes. It was awesome to watch him, and it's been awesome to watch his maturation process in the league. But he's actually showing that he's one of the top guys, and he's always been one of the top guys.
Why am I not shocked that you're here calling out Justin Reed, our former Texan?
Justin's a great player. I think they should have utilized his skill set a lot more of playing almost like a rover, like a linebacker, and say, you need to stick with him because you can catch him and you can make the great tackle. So I would have liked to see that better, but it didn't happen. So Kansas City now is one loss.
One loss. Well, let's look at that stat line. Josh Allen had 262 yards, a rushing touchdown, and a 67.5% completion rate. It was a really great day for him, and I think really what sealed the deal for me, that Man of the Week, that amazing rushing touchdown at the end of the game to seal that win.
Of course. Anytime you get a guy that big and he starts, it boosts his confidence. It boosts his team confidence. And not just that, for the O-line, they looking at, we know we're working, and now he's adding to the run game. When you get those hidden yardage from your quarterback, it always makes for momentum shifters, and it makes for the defense to start getting real frustrated, because like, we got him on the back end with the coverage, and now all of a sudden he's beating us with his legs, and that's when you can't happen on the defensive side.
So I'm curious, from your perspective, it's got to be a lot of confidence coming from your head coach to call that play on a 4th and 2 minutes to go in the game, keeping the ball in Josh Allen's hands. Do you think that was the plan, or he saw an opportunity and took advantage?
Well, I think it was always the plan, because if we're going to beat this team, we got to beat them now. And we got to steal those yards. We got to steal those small victories. So calling that doesn't really surprise me, because if our quarterback is who we think he is, and what we paid for, let's utilize him. Let's see if he gets it done. Because if we take a L, we take a L. But we can't leave anything on the field. It's like going home with timeouts. They're not worth anything once you go home.
Yeah, and one of the more shocking things, but we've kind of been seeing it a little bit more this season, because the Chiefs just really haven't been the Chiefs. I know they were undefeated, but it wasn't that electricity that we've seen in seasons past. With a minute to go, Patrick Mahomes throws an interception. What have you been seeing from these guys, just almost not showing up when it matters the most?
Well, it's not about showing up. I think they're a different offense. I think they have to create those mismatches. I think that's why when getting D-Hop to come over here, another Texans, excuse me for throwing another Texan out there, but getting him is going to add to the offense. I think it'll take time for all of them to gel and figure out, how do we create these mismatches to get everything open? How do we get everything gelling? And so right now, yeah, it's still a great team. Don't get me wrong. Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in all of football. But it's going to take time for them to gel. It's going to take time for them to go through. I'll tell you right now, don't nobody want to see them in the playoffs because that's when they're going to start playing Chiefs football. So right now, I'm not really worried about it. I still think they're the second best team in the NFL behind the Detroit Lions. But when it comes playoff time, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and that offense are a different monster.
You and I were talking about that last week, who we thought were the best teams, and I went with the Chiefs. I'm still going to hold on to. I think that they can pull it through. Something about that Chiefs energy. America is behind them. All the girls of this nation are behind the Chiefs
the Taylor Swift
for
movie.
obvious reasons, I know. But they're the type of team that are always going to pull it through. But we have seen a little bit just less pizzazz. It's hard to say because they're such a good team still. I mean, 9-1, that's an amazing record. But do you kind of have an energy of what that piece is that's just not super clicking? They're winning games, but there's no blowouts.
But I think because everybody's catching up. And anytime you can have a team that wins games, W's are hard to come by in the league. And anytime you can get a W, anytime you can get a win, you take it. Whether it's by a point, whether it's by a yard, you're going to always take those victories, those small victories, because in the category of the games, it doesn't say 1 by 1, 1 by 2. It says W. And that's all you care about because like I said, winning is hard to do in this NFL. It's a difference between being 2-14 or now, I guess now to be 2-15. It's a difference between being that and winning or being 14-2. So when you see that, you take it. You take it every single week. So I don't care how they're doing it. They're doing it.
Well, there was a little something that I was a little disappointed to see. This was the matchup of the two quarterbacks' famous girlfriends, because obviously we've got Taylor Swift, but then Josh Allen is dating the girl from Pitch Perfect, and oh gosh, she was in, what was it called? Transformers.
Oh yeah.
Haley Steinfeld, that's her. Oh, I loved her music in college. I was excited to see both of them there, but I didn't see either of them on camera. I just got to say I was a little disappointed. But like I said, Man of the Week goes to Josh Allen, handing that first loss of the season to the Chiefs. He really did pull it through. So we will be right back after this break right here on Blitz and Banter. Welcome back to Blitz and Banter. Now we're going to be talking about Burrow's sorrows. I had to title this like this, fun little tongue twister, but also so relevant. Joe Burrow has really been having an amazing season personally with the Bengals, but that record does not reflect it at all. Did you get a chance to watch this game?
I watched parts of it. You know, it's hard because I was traveling this week with the Texans. But Joe has played well all year long. His first season back from injury and coming up, and he's doing well. But the Bengals are being the Bengals. You know what I mean? So I'm not surprised about what I see. You know, now I think the defense just has to play better. Like, you got to get more out of them. You got to get more out of everybody else around this team, because eventually Joe Burrow is going to end up like Carson Palmer and worn out. He's going to want to go to a place that has tools for him to be successful, because he doesn't want to see his counterparts in the AFC winning games the way they win in games, and he's not getting those same W's.
I mean, we've seen seasons in the past, though. You said the Bengals are going to be the Bengals, but they've been historically pretty good in the last couple of seasons.
Oh, of course, so. But your identity is, for me, is the history of the game. I mean, the Bengals before.
But you're going to have a whole different team every 7 to 10 years.
Really, you get a whole different one every year.
But completely different roster.
Of course, but I think that it's almost like Clemson for a while. Clemson was historically bad for years, and now they're being historically good, so they're winning games. But I think as long as you have a good quarterback, they always had great quarterbacks, but now it's a matter of putting it together. Now they have a great offense, and their defense is lacking. So anytime you can get those guys under the bus as far as not having all three phases of the game, you'll start losing games. And historically, the Bengals have not always had all three phases.
Okay, well, I'm going to admit something to you real quick. I didn't grow up watching the Bengals and the Chargers. To me, this was like the most elusive matchup. The Bengals and Chargers, until I got to high school, I don't know if I even knew the names of those teams. So this matchup to me, a little elusive. When you watch it, that was an amazing game. I watched the first half and I was like, okay, Chargers have taken this away completely. But then you see the Bengals and Joe Burrow take it from a 27-6 trailing game, ties it up. It really was so incredible, and I had no skin in the game, so I didn't care how it went either way. I was pulling for the Bengals at that point.
Well, I'm never pulling for any team except for the Texans against my Chargers.
Gotta be a little unbiased here.
Another unbiased fact, I played for the Chargers, you know what I mean? And we were San Diego at the time. But, you know, I hated that they got stagnant for a while and just couldn't get those points on the board. And when finally they had to turn it over and get things together, because I really like Harbaugh as a coach, and I want him to be, he's always won. From the time he was at USD to Stanford to Michigan to the 49ers, he's a winning coach. So I'm always going to bet with John Harbaugh when it comes to making things happen.
Did I just offend you when I said that I never really cared about the Chargers?
No, I mean we were historic. They started doing what the Chargers always did. My first year there, we were probably the number 1 ranked team in the NFL going into the playoffs. We lose in the divisional round to a rookie in Mark Sanchez, and they ended up going to the AFC Championship. So the Chargers are always going to figure out ways not to win the important games. So I was happy that they won this game because they got to get over that hump and start being winners again.
All right, well, in my defense, when you're with the Chargers, I might have been in middle school.
Yeah, you probably were.
You can't blame me there. Well, Joe actually was quoted saying that this is the most frustrating game of his career. And when asked why, he said, it's pretty self-explanatory. That's a pretty bleak thing to say about where you're at in the middle of the season. So where does a team go to try and come back from this?
Well, it's hard because when quarterbacks start admitting to having problems with the rest of their team, and he's trying to throw somebody under the bus without throwing them under the bus.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
He said it.
Oh,
he said it without saying.
It's a call out, and you never want that. But at the same time, the best ability is accountability, and you got to be accountable to your teammates. You got to be accountable to your actions, and some people are not pulling their weight right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of the season goes for them, along with the decisions that's going to be made in the offseason.
So how do you think it is in the locker room then when you do kind of have such a unstated but obvious call out from your quarterback?
Well, I think the defense is going to be pissed off. The players are going to be pissed off because they're going to look like, hey man, there's been games when we've held y'all up and you didn't hold your parts up. Because when you think about it, the score at one point was what, 26-7 or 27-6. Guess what? That means the offense ain't moving either. You know what I mean? So it's two tails to the tape right there. So it's like, hey, you didn't do anything to help us out in the first half. We did everything in the second half. So guess what? It's on both of us.
All right, well, hopefully we see things turn around for the Bengals soon. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Blitz and Banter. Now it is time for this week's hot topic, Jerry's World.
Oh.
I know you've got a lot to say, so let me go and recap what's been going on. 2 weeks ago, we saw the blinding light in Jerry's World completely obstruct the view for the Cowboys. It's supposed to be something that's a home field advantage. Nope, that did not advantage them.
No.
Then, this week, we see the rafters falling from the ceiling. The ceiling is coming down. A lot of things are going wrong. I don't even know what to make of it. Jerry's World, to me, growing up, was the pinnacle of football facilities. What's going on?
Well, I mean, I think it's a microcosm for the entire franchise. Everything's falling apart. Rome is falling as we speak. Listen, every stadium in America has a north end zone and a north end zone and a south end zone. Jerry's the first person to build an east and west end zone. So now all of a sudden you got the sun does what? Rise in the east, sets in the west. So on both sides, depending on what time the game is, you'll get sun coming in. And if anybody knows better, you never want sun coming in through your windows, even in your house, a certain type of way, because now you can't see the TV. Well, guess what? Your receivers can't see the ball. They lucky I wasn't next to it, because I would have sat there with PTSD as far as like, man, I can't believe this thing almost hit me. But to get to a point where the game is almost canceled because it's dangerous for the players on the field, dangerous for the people in the stands, and you have to bring somebody to secure this piece of metal up there. It's bananas to me. The fact that you hadn't had it open in 2 years, you telling me nobody's tested the roof for 2 years? Somebody has to get fired. And I think Jerry needs to start with himself. Because right now, the things that are going on with Jerry and his team is absurd. The fact is that you get on TV week after week after week and give us some lame excuse about why you guys aren't winning the game. You have Trey Lance, who's a former first-round pick that we know can play football. He's better than Cooper Rush. You're not going to sit here and tell me that Cooper Rush gives you the best opportunity to win games, and you come on TV like we're all a bunch, like we're all just not smart people, and tell, oh, I'm giving us the best opportunity to win games. Are you kidding me? There's no way you say, I'm going to stick with this guy. I just think that Jerry at some point has to stop believing in Jerry and say, you know what, let somebody else run this place. Let me let somebody else do the job that I think I'm doing. And because right now you can't win games. I mean, you can't even sell it to your fans. You lost 6 straight games at home, all by 20 points or more. At our worst in Houston Texans history, we weren't doing that. And so now you aren't anything. So now the next question is, what is it that you're leaning on? You got these 5 banners or however many banners you got up. They mean nothing. They're just paperweights. So Dallas, I'm even mad that we're taking this time in this segment to talk about the Cowboys because it doesn't make us any better.
I didn't know if I was going to get another word in this segment.
Oh,
I think
man,
you just
I'm
talked for 3
sorry.
minutes straight. No, continue to go. I was having the time of my life over here. Well, yeah, CeeDee Lamb was pretty frustrated 2 weeks ago with the whole window thing because ball came right at him. We all thought he would make the catch. He didn't even see it. Yeah. And he even stated that he 1,000% is in favor of putting up shades. But we've got Jerry Jones who says that he wants to make it look like it's outdoors and have that outdoors feel. I understand. I'm all about a good aesthetic. You want to have good energy in the facility, but when it comes at the cost of your own team scoring points, it's a little bit ridiculous.
Oh, of course. If you wanted to be outdoors, you should have built an outdoor stadium. You have a convertible top stadium, and you decide, let's build it convertible. Whatever you want to do. You want to be outside, inside. Make up your mind. You know what I mean? If you're going to build the stadium correctly. But now it's just week after week after week, it's something else wrong with the Cowboys. And it starts and ends. If Jerry wants to say he's in charge, guess what? It starts and ends with him. We have a saying in football. You're either allowing it to happen or you're coaching it to happen. And right now, Jerry's doing both. He's allowing it and he's coaching it because you are a direct reflection of leadership. And his leadership is broken just like his building.
It's interesting because I always know that Jerry is very much hands-on in this program, but the way you talk about it makes it sound like he's actually choosing who is starting each week.
Oh, no question.
He's that hands-on?
Oh, no question.
That's
Nothing
crazy.
happens without Jerry's approval.
Well, one last thing really quick. All the things coming from the ceiling. I know that there's a rule that things can't be changed within an hour before the game. What was the vibe like in the place, just knowing that what the heck is going on?
Well, I think the vibe still was great, but I think people still were concerned. You saw the players concerned, they're looking up, but the vibe was awesome because guess what? The Houston Texans were in the building.
Houston Texans were in the building. That's all that mattered, and maybe it affected the Cowboys, but not the Texans. Well, we will be right back with Blitz and Banter. Got more great stuff coming up after this break. Welcome back to Blitz and Banter. Now it is time to talk about a little bit of game day fashion. I bet you've noticed I've got a different jacket on right now. I had to cover up my pink sparkles because I wanted to match our very first fashionista of the week, Joe Burrow. Take a look at this gorgeous fit.
Joe looks like he could be a temptation with the crop top periwinkle blue on. So, I mean, I don't think I would wear that. I had wore that color in somebody's wedding, which, like you know, like in 27 dresses. It's always a bad suit for either somebody being a bridesmaid or being on the groomsman. It's never a good looking thing, you know. So, you wear it well. I just wouldn't be wearing this.
I gasped when I saw this because it's a crop top, and so is mine. And I had this in my closet for years. It's hilarious. I mean, look, I think it's really trendy and fashionable, and I like when men take risks in fashion. I hate seeing the same suit and tie all the time. But the fact that I have the same coat in my closet, a little interesting.
I was wondering, was he going to show any midriff?
I wish he had. All right, moving on. We have got Matthew Orzek. I don't know if I'm going to say that name right. I apologize, but he's with the Packers, and this is chef's kiss. If you're a man and you don't know how to dress like this. It's sleek, it is subtle, but it looks great. This is the type of outfit that I would put my boyfriend in. And I think I just loved it because the matching flow, the beard, This was just a nice look. Give me your thoughts.
Oh yeah, he looked. Well, if y'all can say he looked phenomenal, I think it's a great look. Looked like Matthew McConaughey. I wish I had his head of hair, because it just looks awesome with the way. I don't know what kind of mousse he's using, but guess what? I need some for my hair. But it was a nice look. It was a nice look. He looked like he could be a superstar right there. So I loved it.
Pretty good. All right, our last one, Andy Reid of the Chiefs. There was two thoughts that came to my mind when I saw this. Number one, he kind of looks like the Lorax.
Oh, yeah.
His shoulders, his mustache. We're here for the trees.
We're here for the trees.
But also, he kind of looked like Donald Trump.
No question.
Oversized jacket, red tie.
You could swap your heads on that picture, and you wouldn't know the difference.
Probably not.
I think the way, the look, everything. It looks like he's running for office.
It was just an interesting sight. I had a lot of thoughts when I saw it. I knew that we needed a review. All right, moving on. We need to talk about the announcement that just came out. NFL on Netflix, and Beyonce is going to be the halftime performer for the Texans game on Christmas Day. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, it's going to be awesome. Unfortunately, I won't be there because I'll be in Aruba with my family. But what's funny is that the person I gave my tickets to, I had to send them a message saying, congratulations on being able to see Beyonce as well. Because the prices have gone up by, I think, 3,000%. Like, just to get in the building will cost you $200. So it's now a Beyonce concert with double-sided NFL football as we speak. So it's going to be great. I started laughing because Andre Johnson was like, "Hey man, I'm coming down and watching it from the sideline during halftime." So we're excited to see that. I think everybody's going to be excited. I hope Netflix doesn't have the same problem it had with that fight and buffering. I hope they figure out the load management for what it is to watch, because at halftime, whenever it is, it's going to be a show to watch, and everybody's going to be watching that game at that point.
My gosh, that was my exact same thoughts. We watched that fight on Saturday night, and Friday night, buffer. We couldn't even get through the thing.
Oh, no.
And I had those same problems when they did the Love is Blind reunion. That was the first live thing that Netflix ever did. And I'm sure you haven't watched Love is Blind, but phenomenal show. They did the live reunion. It sat in holding for 3 hours. The live never even happened.
Yeah,
so Netflix obviously has some problems, and I thought months later they would have fixed it by now. Obviously not. I'm a little worried for Christmas Day.
Oh, you and me both. I think everybody, if they mess this NFL game, it's one thing to mess up the fight. It's another thing to mess up the Love is Blind reunion. And I have seen a couple episodes because my wife watches the show.
A cultured man.
But if you mess up this NFL game, it is going to be a problem. And if you mess up Beyonce, it's going to be a bigger problem.
Oh, you're going to get America's hands.
So,
I got to say real quick, I'm pretty livid because the company I work for, Relevant Worldwide, has a suite with the Texans. We gave it away on Christmas Day. So I'm pissed. And I'm going to see if I can try and pull some strings and get somewhere in that stadium, because Beyonce's my girl.
You wouldn't be wrong, because I want to watch it. I think if they want to make it even better, announce that she's coming back to the rodeo, and her and Taylor Swift like bookend the entire rodeo. I think that'd be awesome. This city would absolutely erupt.
Beyonce has to be at the rodeo. Cowboy Carter has to happen. All right, well, I've got a lot more thoughts on Beyonce, but I could talk for hours. So we'll be right back after this quick break. Welcome back to Blitz and Banter. Now it is my favorite segment of the week, POV, point of view. This is where we take a topic and Travis and I kind of duke it out and talk about our different points of view. We've got the athlete here, the reporter here. What a better topic of conversation to talk about than cameras and reporters in the locker room. I'm going to let you go first because I think your point of view might be a little bit different than mine.
Well, I mean, first of all, I think, of course, we know that reporters are up against it as far as deadlines are concerned. So you want to give them the grace of saying they got to do their job the same way you did your job. But I think it depends on when it is. Before the game, there's nothing you need to be in there interviewing. We're not having an interview before the game. I'm trying to get locked in so I can go to war, go to battle. I'm trying to figure out the best way to beat my opponent. And now you're in my face or you're there. After the game, I think it has to be a certain amount of time for you to let me cool my emotions, bring it down, and then we'll get to it. But again, also, there's a time where guys are sitting there walking around stark naked like the day they came into this world, and they don't care what women come in there, what dude doesn't. They're not going to change their routine. So I think it's got to be a balance. I'm all for them being there, but I think it has to be some type of balance. When I was here with the Houston Texans, Tony Wiley had a rule. You have to have a shirt on in order to interview our guys. Now you see guys without shirts on. You see half of them be butt naked, or they'll sit in their locker room, and now they're 50 people around them trying to get an interview, but they are literally naked from head to toe. So I'm a little bit, I'm always worried about it because now, to be all intents and purposes, it could be considered harassment if you do it that way. But I don't know.
What were the rules when you were in the league when it comes to, okay, the guys can be in here X amount of time after the game? Like, is there strict regulations with this?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it used to be 15 minutes after, like, post-game, I'm guessing. So the coach would have a conversation. They give us 15 minutes. But now that's peak shower time. You know what I mean? That's the time where you sit there, you take your time, getting out all your equipment, take your shower. You know, unless some of those nasty guys take them shower pills, which, you know, we didn't like.
Excuse me?
Shower pills?
What?
Yeah, like, that means you really didn't shower. You just took a shower pill. You know what I mean? Like, you go.
What does that even mean? Baby wipes under the pits?
No, they didn't shower. So we used to say, oh, he took a shower pill. Like, they just got up, got dressed, and went home.
And they're going to get on their little private jet smelling like cheeks?
Sometimes they do, especially some of them old linemen, yeah.
Oh, God.
So we used to keep a tally of the guys that took shower pills. Like,
keep all those guys in the back of the plane sitting together.
Oh, yeah, it was crazy. But I mean,
downwind.
That's another inside joke. But that now I bought outside the Blitz and Banter. But we are. I think it's one of those times where you don't want them in the locker room when I'm trying to get adjusted. I'm trying to calm my nerves. I'm trying to get dry because I'm still sweating for an hour after the game. So,
I think we're going to need to have a little confessional later. You're needing to tell me which players are the shower pill guys.
Oh, it'll take me time to figure out. I mean, all I got to do is ask the guys in the locker room. They'll tell me who's the shower pill guys on this current team. But there's a few. There's always a few shower pill guys.
That's disgusting. But really, in locker rooms, you never know what's going to happen. I think we saw that this weekend when we saw Mike Tyson's cheeks on the screen.
Oh, he was a cheeky fellow. You know what I mean? Mike Tyson literally kisses his son on the cheek, tells him he loves him, and then walks out and he's in a jockstrap. You know what I mean? If everybody knows a jockstrap like opposite of a G-string, it doesn't cover up anything. You know,
double cheeked up on a Friday night. I don't think he's the type of guy that would really care.
Oh, he didn't.
Well, I mean, my mom, her first time interviewing in a locker room, I won't say who it was, but her first interview, she's going and the guy in the middle of the interview, you can't see because it's shot up from the waist up, but drops towel in the middle of the interview. To me, like, there should be a time and a place when people should be allowed in the locker room, cameras should be allowed to be on, and clothes should be required, because that's just weird. Oh,
it's very weird. And right now, in today's society, it's definitely frowned upon. But that's why the locker room is such a unique place, because there's no other workspace in the world where you can be butt naked talking to a female colleague or wherever you want to call it, and just looking like, so what's going on? How you doing? And now you're, as a professional, are required to keep your eyes on me, interview it, but then the natural person is like, is this person really just going to sit here with no clothes on? Yeah, so it's a little weird at times.
I've talked to some of my athlete friends, and they figured out ways to hold towels up around themselves and change under a towel because they know that their locker buddy right next to them is live on TV being interviewed.
Exactly.
I just don't think that these athletes in their space, in their private area, should have to be working that hard, not to flash the nation. So I think we're kind of on the same page here. Not the craziest POV. I'm sure we'll have some differing opinions.
We'll have some different opinions sometime.
All right. Well, right after this break, we're going to talk about our Week 12 picks. So stay with us. Now it is time to talk about next week's picks, Week 12. We're going to go over a couple games and see who can guess these wins correctly. It started off strong, our team, Texans taking on the Titans. I'll let you go first.
Well, I mean, of course, I think we don't like that team over there that decided they did no longer like Houston to be their home. So I'm going to always go with our Texans. That's our team. That's my team. And we know they're going to win because they're going to get better after this victory. And it's going to be nice to win 2 in a row. Anytime you get a W in this league, it's always a wonderful thing.
I'm also taking the Texans. No shock here. I think they're obviously the better team right now in the league, but they're really strong on the offense right now, and that's something that I think the Titans are really lacking. I know that in the first couple of games of the season, we had Will Levis leading the team, and then got a little banged up, and I think that was really a good excuse just to sit him out for a little bit and learn and have him kind of have to work his way back. We saw Mason Rudolph lead the way for a couple weeks, but now Will Levis is back. So I think that their offense just doesn't really know exactly what they're doing right now, and it leads the Texans to kind of have an easier week on their hands.
Well, anytime you get rid of your number one option on offense and Derrick Henry, let him walk and go elsewhere, it's going to be a problem. And especially if you got a young quarterback, that's not what you want to do. And I think they're realizing that now. With no run game and our quarterback's not that good, because we reached to get him, we're going to take this win, and we're going to love it.
All right, next up, Chiefs-Panthers. I am going to go with Chiefs. Obviously, they
You
are.
sure?
Yes, I'm going with Chiefs. Obviously, they are a great team, and I do think, though, that they're going to have a newfound spark this next coming week, because this one loss, I think, is going to light a fire under them a little bit.
Oh, and I have to agree with you, because anytime come off a loss, I guess you want to play teams like the Cowboys, like the Panthers in the next week, because right now they can't buy wins, and so you don't want them to start. You don't want them to find a win with you. So I think they pretty much run away with it and beat them probably by 50. If I'm anybody, I'm taking whatever the point spread is. Take the point spread, because they're going to beat them by whatever they think, whatever the Vegas say they're going to beat them by.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes was also quoted saying that, I think it's going to spark us to have more urgency, especially at the start of the game and especially with the offense. So seems like Patrick is already going to be coming into this game ready to come guns a-blazing.
Of course, it's a stat game. It's a game where you build up your stats, because you know they aren't that good. So you treat them like the fishes that they are, you know what I mean? And you just start plucking them away, because guess what? Sacks come in bunches, touchdowns come in bunches, and yards come in bunches. And if you start getting those things, that starts to build confidence, especially going into the second half of the season.
All right, in our last game, Bucks-Giants. I'm hoping we have a differing opinion here, or that means all of our picks are going to be the exact same. So I'm thinking, we've got Tommy DeVito that's going to be leading the Giants next week. So it's going to be a little bit of a spark to the offense, but Bucks are really trying to get in the playoffs, so I'm going with Bucks.
I mean, if you want me to take the Giants, I would.
It's hard.
But I can't. Listen, I'm not betting on dumb money. That's just not going to do it. I mean, I wouldn't. Hey, listen, if you want me to take the Giants, people out there, I'll take the Giants. But I'm telling you right now, do not bet on the Giants, because they're unlikely to win this game. I think the way that Tampa Bay is playing right now, the way that they're getting yards, and the quarterback play, quite frankly, is dang good right now. So I don't see the Giants win this game. But just for you guys out there, I'll pick the Giants, just so we can have a win-loss differential when we put this on the screen next week.
How about this? You took the Giants for me, and for you, I'm going to go with, I think the Cowboys are going to win next week. Two big bets that probably aren't going to pay off for us.
Oh, they're definitely not. I mean, the only way the Cowboys will win next week is if it's a bye week.
I don't think it is.
And it's not.
Yeah. All right, any other big matchups that you think we need to be noting on?
Oh, man, it's going to be a lot of good ones. I think and I hate to keep saying this, but anytime you get a chance to get better in football, anytime you get a chance to be on the field, it's going to be great. And it's going to be a chance to get better. So I'm just looking forward to just another week of football. Anytime we get to watch it, because in a few weeks, we're going to be craving for it all over again, to wait another 9 months without football. So I'm excited just to watch it. I'm excited to watch everything, to be honest.
Well, I'm excited too, but I'm also just counting down the minutes until we get Christmas Day with Beyonce.
Oh, aren't we all? It's going to be Cowboy Carter up in Reliance Stadium, NRG, excuse me.
All right, well, we had a great show. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you guys for joining us on Blitz and Banter. We look forward to seeing you here next week, so we will catch you then.